Hi, my name is Dube-Lockhart, and this is my presentation on exercise progression and regression using open and closed kinetic chain exercises. First, we're going to talk about regression and progression. Really quickly on those, the human body was made to evolve. We were made to adapt to various different types of environments and movements. Because of that, we have the ability to grow and get better as we engage in workload. Progression and regression are words that describe that evolution in movement. So when we regress an activity, we are making it less intense or lessening the workload. In summary, making it easier. And when we're progressing an activity, what we're doing is we're accounting for the body's ability to adapt, and we are making that activity more challenging and more difficult to do. First, we're going to look at open kinetic chain. We're going to look at two different activities, one in the upper body and one in the lower body. In an open kinetic chain, the distal end of the extremity that's performing the work is free to move. So what that means is it's not affixed to a stable environment, and it's actually actioning the movement as opposed to having the force placed on it and keeping it immobile or engaged. For this, in the upper body, we're going to demonstrate using a bicep curl. So a bicep curl, really simply lowering a weight and lifting it back up to our chest in an extension and a flexion of the arm. Ways to regress this activity to make it more simple is you can lower your body and sit right down, supporting your upper body onto your lower leg into a concentration curl. This allows you to reduce the range of motion of the weight, as well as increasing your base of support, lowering your center of gravity, and giving your arm somewhere to brace itself, thereby engaging other muscle groups as well. To progress this activity, we can, of course, add more weight, but where's the fun in that? We're going to look at a different way of doing it. In this case, we're going to look at an eccentric curl. So what we're doing there is we are using time under tension to add friction in the muscles and basically use the gravitational force to make the movement harder. What you're doing here is you are increasing the time upon which your arm is engaging in gravity by slowing down the lowering and bring it back up in a nice slow and controlled lowering position. In our lower body, we're going to look at a side-lying hip abduction and extension, or you might refer to it as a leg lift. So again, our basic movement is just lifting that leg with the hips stacked one on top of the other. To regress this and make it more accessible and easier, you can just bend that stabilizing leg, which again increases that base of support. Or you can also lower the range of motion by bringing the leg up less high. Conversely, if you wanted to progress it, you can bring it up into a side plank, which reduces that base of support and also forces you to engage in balancing and bring in your core in a more concrete way. Now we're going to look at closed kinetic chain. So open chain means that your arm, the distal end, I guess your arm or your feet are able to engage freely and are not affixed in a closed chain, they are affixed. So in this case, we're going to begin looking at the upper body with the push-up. As you can see in a push-up, the weight is being exerted down onto my hands, so they are not free to move of their own accord outside the context of the exercise. If we wanted to make the push-up easier, what we can do is we can increase the incline at which our body is approaching the exercise. So instead of going all the way down to the ground, you can approach it at a tabletop position, right? Still engaging in the same movement, but using the incline of the body, the lever, to reduce the workload. Conversely, you can decline the activity by raising the legs as opposed to the arms and engaging in gravity as part of the workload to make it more difficult and more intense. Finally, for our last movement, we're going to look at the squat. In a squat, again, we're going down, basic movement, coming in at the side. And if you want to make that easier, you can encourage them to go into a sitting squat, which not only corrects form, but reduces the need for balancing and gives you a better base of support. And to progress that activity, you can look at the narrow squat, which reduces the base of support and forces the need to balance in a more active way. So that was our presentation on exercise progression and regression in open and closed kinetic chain exercises. Thank you very much.